Hi, my sweet angels. Thanks for joining me today for our low flow class on days that you don't have a lot of time or energy. Come to meet me in a child's pose with your knees wide or together, hands wherever. Take a few deep breaths here, settling into your space. Before keeping the chin to chest and rolling up one vertebrae at a time to come and sit on your shins. Right away, we're going to take a look at our pelvic positioning. Notice any arching in your spine and try to alleviate it by tucking the tailbone down, pubic bone forward, and reining the ribs in and down. Begin to cat-cow your spine here by inhaling and drawing the chest forward, exhaling, rounding the chin back to the chest, and protracting the shoulder blades, creating more space between them. Move back and forth between this motion on your own breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Finding some fluidity through the spine, inviting some blood flow in case it's early in the morning. And then create a few wiggles, letting the body talk and the mind shut off before coming to meet me in a tabletop position, shoulders over wrists and hips over knees. Immediately wrap your triceps behind you, hug that imaginary block between your arms, and puff up through the back of the heart, creating a stable foundation here on all fours. Take an inhale. On the exhale, begin to walk your hands forward, dropping the chest towards the floor, still hugging the triceps towards each other, and lifting the sit bones up towards the sky. Keep your heart buoyant here, resisting the ground away from you. And when you find a little more length, maybe your forehead, chin, or chest can come to the mat, pressing the shins into the ground. From here, lengthen the tailbone towards the ground, tuck the pelvis towards our heart space, and slink to a sphinx pose, lowering the belly onto the ground. Fingertips tint on either side of the mat, keeping the elbows bent. Tap the tops of the feet onto the ground, press the pubic bone into the mat, and rise yourself up for a cobra pose, squeezing the shoulder blades onto your back body, and draw the hands back towards the hips before exhaling and lowering back down to the mat. Tuck your toes under, press the ground away, and send the weight back over your knees for a downward facing dog. Hugging the triceps towards one another, pulling the navel in and up, creating a long spine, keeping the knees bent here. Walk out your dog. Pedaling it out, taking deep breaths. Next, inhale, lift the right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, bend the knee, pull it up and into your chest, puff up through the back of the heart, and place the foot on the outside of the right hand. Begin seesawing over the ball of that back foot. Moving forwards and backwards before sweetly dropping the left knee towards the mat. Begin magnetizing your feet towards one another and grabbing some blocks if you know you'll need them. We'll be moving into our lizard stretch. A deep hip opening. Release your forearms onto the blocks or the mat for a deeper variation. Draw the elbows back towards your hip bones and hug that right knee into your right tricep. Take a few deep breaths here to settle into your position. Finding some ease. Bend the back leg and squeeze the heel in towards your glute. Pulse it there a few times and reach back with the right hand. Make a C with the fingers and hook it around the foot. Back the hips up a bit and see if you can make the heel to butt connection before sinking the thigh a little bit deeper for a deeper stretch. Breathing in and out through your nose. And release the hold if you have it. Square the hips back off. Release the back foot to the mat. Back the hips up over the left knee. Straighten out the right leg and go for a hamstring stretch. Folding over the right leg. thinking about reaching the chest to the toes rather than the knee to the nose. The hands can be on the ground, forearms can be on blocks. Breathe down the back body and into the back of that leg. Rebend into the right knee. Place both hands on the inside of that leg. Lift the back knee and pivot the back foot until it becomes flush with the mat. Walk your hands a little bit further down the middle until you find a place that's comfortable. Now we're in a half squat lunge here. We're going to be magnetizing that back foot up to meet the right. Breathe into the stretch. Find movement or stillness, whatever's calling to you right now. Try to keep our spine long. Before pivoting our body back towards the top of the mat, squaring off the hips and pumping up so much so through the back of the heart that maybe you can lift that right leg and glide it back to meet the left for a downward facing dog. Take a few breaths. Pedal it out again before moving back to the other side. Lift that left leg up and back behind you. Exhale it into your chest, puffing up the back of your heart and stepping it on the outside of that left hand. Seesaw back and forth over the top of that back foot, preparing for our lizard lunge. Drop the back knee sweetly. Magnetize the legs towards one another. Grab your blocks if you know you need them. And settle into your stretch. Filling up the body with breath, sending it to the place that you have tension. Squeegeeing our elbows towards that back knee, pulling our hearts forward. Breathing here. Bend that back leg. Squeeze the heel into the glute. Pulse it there. Reach back and grab the foot with that left hand. Back the hips up. Make the thigh to glute connection. And sink forward. Inhaling deeply and exhaling fully. Release the clasp if you have it. Re-square the hips. Place both hands on the inside of that left leg and come into our half malasana, our half squat here. Sinking the hips low. Breathing into our inner thighs. Magnetizing that right heel towards our left. And even here, if you're finding a difficulty to relax, you can always place a block under your sit bones to help you find a little bit more stability without so much activation. Lift the hips back up. Re-square your torso to the top of the mat. Gently drop the back knee down to the mat. And back the hips up, straightening out through that left leg. Breathing into the belly of the hamstring. Lengthening the top half of your body over the lower half. Deep inhales and exhales. Crawl your weight back forward. Pick up the back knee, puff up through the back of the heart, so much so that maybe you can lift your left leg up into its socket and squeegee it back to meet the right. Downward facing dog. Pedal it out again for the last time. Come to the balls of the feet. Roll your way forward, tucking pelvis towards sternum. Bend the elbows to the side and lower yourself all the way down towards the mat. Tint the fingertips out towards the side. Tap the tops of the feet onto the ground and grow yourself up into a cobra pose, peeling your chest, chin off the mat. And lower yourself back down. One more time, push your way up to a cobra pose, squeezing the shoulder blades onto your back body, down away from your ears. Gaze in the same direction your heart is pointing and lower yourself down. From here, bend the right knee and send it over towards the left for a spinal twist. Keeping the fingertips tented, switch out. Bend the left knee and send it over towards the left, wringing out the thoracic spine, neutralizing blood flow, and make your way onto your back bodies. Send the right foot long, grab the left knee up into your chest, give it a good squeeze, and send it over towards the right side. Going for another spinal twist. You can bring a block under that knee if it's not touching the ground. It does not have to, but try and keep your left shoulder blade pinned to the mat. Release your twist. Send the left leg long. Right knee comes up into the chest. Hug it in, elongating through the left upper hip. And going for a spinal twist again. Breathe length through the whole midline of your body before returning to center. Hug both knees in, give them a squeeze, give them a big hug, thank yourself for showing up today, and then release all activation. Legs grow long, arms go wherever, and fall into your final resting pose, adult nap time. Take advantage of it before returning to your busy life. It's really hard to make times for ourselves, but it is important to do so. So even if you have just 15 minutes a day to get your blood flowing, get that body moving, and shift your perspective, it'll make your day that much better. So thanks again. We'll see you soon.